Hi guys, I'm Kunal and this is my channel Conversation Corner. On my channel, I talk about how words can influence our worldview and our mindset. And I want to tell you today why it may be a very bad idea to label people as good people or bad people. When we talk about what something is, we're talking about its intrinsic property. If we talk about sugar, then sweetness is its intrinsic property. If you're talking about salt, then saltiness is its intrinsic property. However, good and bad is not really the intrinsic property of a person. This is a behavior that is displayed under different circumstances, and very often someone's mood influences the kind of behavior they display. If someone's in a really good mood, then the chances that their behavior is good is really high. If someone's in a really bad mood, the chances that their behavior is bad is also pretty high. So what happens here is, what the intrinsic nature of a person is simply his being, not him being good or him being bad. So good and bad is influenced a lot by a person's mental state to a great extent, which is why it's erroneous to attribute someone's being to their mental state, because the mental state is always in fluctuation. It always changes, and it can be dangerous to assign the labels good and bad to someone, because then if someone flips a switch on you, let's say a really good friend of 3 4 years, as you say, a good friend of 3 4 years suddenly turns on you, you'll feel distraught and heartbroken and disillusioned. However, if you understand that that's his behavior in that moment, you'll adjust accordingly. Similarly, someone who you labeled as a bad person is now suddenly turning his life around, getting rid of all the bad habits, exercising, eating clean, etc. You suddenly switch and put the label of a good person. So, good and bad are behaviors that are displayed in different mental states under different conditions, and it's not really the essence of who someone is. So the reason we are better off avoiding these labels is it helps us accurately see someone's behavior. If we've already decided someone is good and bad, then no matter what behavior they are displaying, we're going to ignore that. If a so-called bad person is on his best behavior, that gets ignored, and if a so-called good person acts in a bad manner, then that too gets ignored. So in order to be able to see clearly things as they are, we need to discard these labels and judge people based off their responses for that moment. And that's how we'll stay up to date with who someone is, rather than storing an image of them in our mind under the labels good and bad.